thank you very much for joining me this week for my weekly check-in, so you can see my preparation as I move forward towards January and launching a portfolio on my own life funds. So let's see how it's gone for this last week. As you can see here now, I've had a gain of 9.73% over the last week, and then a drawdown of 3.61. However, just with that, as with previous weeks, I have found a discrepancy there with my FX books. I did see drawdown in excess of 5, 6, 7k, which equals more than 3.61%. Again, like I've said in previous weeks, this is just something that I'm mindful of, that the drawdown in my FX books isn't 100% accurate. Also as well, something I'm taking into account is at the moment I'm recording it on the 30th of October, and as you can see here, there's quite a high profit day here, and that's because I had a large sequence of GU just close out. Today is the British budget day of the new government, and it opened positions very unusual, not in line with the back test at all. There's about 20 trade sequence open on GU, but I've got a fixed lot size on that, and that literally all closed as quick as it opened for a really great profit. But it does show me that when there's a very big news day, how resilient that set file is. And that in that case, in that specific instance, that's where I seen that drawdown from earlier that I mentioned. That it's not quite relevant to 3.61%. Talking of other news as well, we are now the 30th of October. We got the US presidential elections coming up now next week. This is a kind of time that I won't actually be normally trading on my own funds anyway. So what I'm going to do with this account is actually switch it off. And so what I intend to do is, because I'm looking to play it out as if it is my own real funds, there's no point in me, well, there's two options really. I could kick on and I could collect the data over what there isn't absolutely no doubt going to be quite a turbulent time in the markets, whichever way it goes. But I always know that with regards to my trading profile, I won't trade with the bank at EA and then with this portfolio over such tumultuous times. So I'm a person who'd much prefer to switch off. So what I'm going to be doing on Friday is I'm going to be switching off, and I'm just going to keep it off all of next week. So next week there won't be an update as to how it's going, but with all things going well, and if the outcome is decided within 2-3 days of the election, so if no one happens to want to fight the outcome, as it were, excuse that expression, then touch wood, by Friday, Saturday, we should have an outcome that everyone is settled with, and therefore, bar Monday, Tuesday, which might be a bit of volatility in the markets, then we should hopefully, touch wood, be back to normal. So for next week, I won't be trading at all on this account. I'm just going to keep it off, and then I will turn it on again once I see the markets have returned back to somewhat normal volatility, and then I'll give you an update then thereafterwards. Now, in the meantime, let's just give you a quick update on that other demo account I started. So just as a quick recap, when I decided to re-optimize this portfolio, there were a few set files that I really did like the look of from the past portfolio, so I decided to take them as they were and put them into their own demo account, and that was 4 of the 6 that I was running. So let's have a little quick look at how they're running, how they're doing now. As you can see here, since the 14th of October, so last 2 weeks, we are 5% up with a drawdown of 0.41%. When I've looked at this, this account, I probably look at it every couple of days or so, either on my phone or via my VPS. I've actually never really seen trades open. So that drawdown, that's incredibly low. It's fantastic. Again, take it with a slight pinch of salt, but I actually believe just from how these set files have been running in the last few months, that's probably more or less accurate for the drawdown. This very much is shaping up to be challenge worthy. I mean, the last 2 weeks, I'll be over 5% towards my my phase 1, which is basically just over halfway with the likes of FTMO, with a cracking drawdown figure. Also, bear in mind that when I switched this over to its own dedicated account on the side 2 weeks ago, I also dropped the lot sizes by half. So if I let the lot sizes exactly the same, I'd be on about 10.5% by now with a drawdown. I mean, let's say that drawdown slightly out at 0.41. I mean, I wouldn't be looking at a drawdown over 2%. That's brilliant. I really, really like that. Again, this is a more exploratory. This is just to feed my curiosity. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with this demo yet. I'm just going to collect data on it like I am with the main account and see how it goes. Bear in mind that due to my back test was 6 months with a 2 months walk forward, I've already played out 2 months live already up to the 14th of October. So in theory, these set files should probably be starting to be less in line with market conditions. Likewise, I'm going to turn this one off on Friday as well, and then turn back on after the elections. But I should expect to see that these would start deteriorating in theory. But there are times where you can find set files, even though backtesting just for 6 months, they end up being quite resilient for quite a while longer. So I'm just going to keep playing it out and just seeing how they go. It's a nice little experiment. Didn't expect to be doing it or finding set files that would be so efficient, especially for so long. Yeah, no harm in seeing, and I'll keep you up to date on how they're going as well. But back to the main one, 10% now, nearly 10% in the last week. And so considering there that we had over a 30k drop when I cut it off there 2 weeks ago, last Wednesday, and we've made 10% since last Wednesday, that it's making up that headway really quite well. So it's really giving me a good idea that if I was going to take a hit of around 30k, around 30% of the original balance, then making it up in just a week at 10%, just under, is quite healthy in terms of if I were to set my EP at that level. But I don't know if I will yet or not. It's still undecided. I'm still just collecting data for the moment. So thanks very much for joining me with this update. Once again, there'll be no update next week due to the US presidential elections. So join me 2 weeks' time. I wish you the best. Bye now.